The Galactic threat emerges. The star charts of the Galactic Confederation had never looked so bleak. Admiral Elena Rodriguez studied the holographic display, her fingers tracing the rapidly expanding territories of the Zorn Collective. Red sectors consumed star systems like a predatory wave, each conquered world representing another civilization crushed beneath alien treads. 23 systems in less than 6 standard months, she muttered to herself, the weight of those lost worlds pressing against her shoulders. The Zorn were unlike any threat the galaxy had encountered before. Biomechanical warriors housed in adaptive exoskeletons, they moved with a cold, calculated precision that made traditional warfare look like a child's game of strategy. Their technology seemed to evolve faster than any known species could adapt, absorbing and improving upon the defensive systems of conquered civilizations within days of first contact. At the Galactic Council's emergency session on Proxima Station, representatives from dozens of alien species sat in tense silence. The Krell-Theri ambassador, a crystalline being whose fractal surface reflected the room's dim lighting, was the first to break the oppressive quiet. "We cannot continue to retreat," the ambassador's translator hummed. "The Zorn will consume everything if we do not find a way to stop them." Representatives from the Neura Collective and the Viridian Confederacy nodded in agreement. Their combined fleets had been decimated in previous encounters, reduced to scattered remnants that barely escaped total annihilation. Unnoticed by most, a single human representative sat quietly at the far end of the circular chamber. Dr. Marcus Chen, Earth's lead diplomatic envoy, appeared unremarkable, a trait that had served humanity well in recent galactic politics. "Earth remains neutral," Chen spoke softly, his words carrying an unexpected weight, but not unprepared. The other representatives turned, a mixture of hope and skepticism crossing their alien features. Earth had long been considered a backwater planet, technologically primitive compared to the advanced civilizations that dominated galactic society. Their occasional technological contributions were seen as quaint, rarely consequential. Little did they know that beneath the planet's seemingly ordinary exterior, humanity had been preparing. Years of quiet research, massive underground facilities, and a determination born from humanity's own turbulent history had created something extraordinary. The Zorn saw themselves as the ultimate evolutionary solution, a species that could adapt and conquer without mercy. They believed no civilization could stand against their relentless expansion. Their collective consciousness had calculated every possible scenario of resistance, eliminating variables with mathematical precision. But they had never truly understood humanity. In the depths of a secure facility beneath the Atacama Desert, a project had been taking shape. Not just a weapon, but a statement. A declaration that humanity would not go quietly into the night, would not vanish without a fight. Dr. Chen's slight smile carried a promise. The Zorn were about to learn a fundamental truth about human nature. When pushed into a corner, humanity didn't break. It transformed. The first phase of their response was ready, and the galaxy would never be the same. Earth's hidden potential. The underground research facility stretched for kilometers beneath the Atacama Desert, a testament to humanity's most closely guarded secret. Dr. Elena Volkov moved through the cavernous engineering bay, her eyes tracing the sleek lines of humanity's ultimate response to the Zorn threat. The Prometheus-class battleship was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Its hull incorporated metamaterials developed through decades of classified research, adaptive nanocomposite structures that could reconfigure themselves in milliseconds. Where traditional spacecraft relied on external shields, Prometheus created an adaptive skin that could literally reshape its molecular structure to absorb, deflect, or neutralize incoming attacks. Final systems check. Volkov spoke into her comm unit. Captain Jack Harper stood on the ship's bridge, his team of 300 carefully selected personnel moving with a precision that spoke of months of intense training. The ship represented more than just a technological marvel. It was humanity's accumulated knowledge, its resilience, its unbreakable spirit compressed into a single vessel. Every component told a story of human innovation, from quantum entanglement communication arrays to temporal disruption generators that could theoretically manipulate localized spacetime. In the Galactic Council chambers, humanity's neutrality had been a carefully constructed illusion. While other civilizations fought and fell, Earth had been preparing. The Prometheus was not just a weapon, but a message, a declaration that humanity would choose its moment of intervention with calculated precision. Captain Harper reviewed the mission parameters. The Zorn believed in absolute mathematical certainty, in predictive warfare that left no room for variables. Humanity specialized in the unpredictable. Navigation, Harper called out. Plot an approach vector that defies standard tactical models. Lieutenant Sarah Rodriguez grinned. Humans excelled at breaking patterns, at finding solutions where algorithms saw only impossible variables. The ship's artificial intelligence, dubbed ARI, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Algorithm, interfaced directly with the crew's neural networks. It was a symbiotic relationship that blended human intuition with computational precision, something no other known civilization had achieved. Deep within the ship's core, experimental quantum drives hummed with potential. Traditional faster-than-light travel relied on predictable warp mechanics. Prometheus could fold space itself, appearing where it was least expected, moving in ways that would confuse even the most advanced sensor systems. "We're more than just another species fighting for survival," Dr. Volkov had told the assembled crew during their final briefing. "We're a testament to adaptation, to the human capacity to turn limitations into opportunities." The Zorn had conquered civilizations by understanding their weaknesses. They would soon learn that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to transform weakness into unprecedented power. As Prometheus prepared for departure, the weight of humanity's collective hope rested on its hull. This was not just a military mission. It was a statement, a declaration that when humanity chose to stand, the galaxy would be forced to take notice. The countdown began. The stars waited. First contact and confrontation. The Zorn Collective's forward command vessel, the Nexus Prime, hung in space like a massive biomechanical nightmare. Its organic metal hybrid hull pulsed with adaptive technologies that had crushed countless civilizations. Supreme Strategist Krelix reviewed the latest conquest data, his multi-layered consciousness certain of total galactic dominance. Incoming anomalous signal. A sensor drone reported, its voice a perfect blend of electronic precision and biological resonance. Krelix barely registered the warning. Anomalies were calculated, predicted, and neutralized in microseconds. The Zorn had mapped every possible strategic scenario across thousands of conquered star systems. Nothing could surprise them. Aboard the Prometheus, Captain Jack Harper studied the tactical displays. "Area," he called out, "initiate quantum camouflage protocol." The ship seemed to shimmer, not disappearing, but becoming something between matter and possibility. Traditional sensor systems would see nothing, or everything, depending on how the adaptive camouflage chose to respond. The first indication of trouble for the Zorn came as a subtle disruption in their communication networks. Quantum entanglement signals began to twist, carrying encrypted messages that defied their computational models. "Target acquired," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, her voice calm. The Prometheus didn't announce its presence with traditional weapons. Instead, it introduced a series of cascading quantum interference patterns that began to unravel the Zorn vessel's defensive systems from within. Krelix first felt uncertainty, a sensation entirely foreign to the collective's hive-mind consciousness. Defensive systems began to fail in ways that defied logical progression. Quantum tunneling effects created impossible scenarios, weapon systems existing in multiple states simultaneously, power conduits that seemed to fold through dimensional barriers. Impossible. The Zorn strategist computed, but computation was failing. Harper's strategy was elegantly simple. Humans didn't just fight. They reimagined the very concept of conflict. The Prometheus wasn't destroying the Zorn vessel. It was systematically deconstructing its fundamental operational principles. Aria's voice cut through the bridge communication. Quantum destabilization at 73%. Adaptive response matrices neutralized. The Zorn had conquered civilizations by understanding their exact technological limitations. Humanity's strength lay in having no recognizable limitations. Each technological barrier was simply a challenge to be reimagined. As the Nexus Prime began to fragment, not from external damage, but from internal computational collapse, Krelks experienced something unprecedented. Fear, not the calculated risk assessment of the collective, but pure, raw uncertainty. One of the junior officers on the Prometheus's bridge turned to Captain Harper. "Sir, they're not even fighting back." Harper's response was measured. "We're not fighting. We're demonstrating." The destruction of the Zorn forward command vessel wasn't a victory of weapons. It was a victory of imagination, of a species that saw limitations as opportunities, that transformed challenge into innovation. As the last fragments of the Nexus Prime dissolved into quantum uncertainty, the message was clear. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. Turning the tide. The aftermath of the Prometheus's first engagement sent shockwaves through the galactic community. In emergency sessions across multiple star systems, the impossible became reality. A previously overlooked species had fundamentally altered the trajectory of a seemingly unstoppable invasion. Back on Earth, the reaction was subdued. There was no celebration, no triumphant parades. Instead, a quiet determination settled over humanity's leadership. Captain Jack Harper stood before the United Earth Council, his report succinct and clinical. "The Zorn Collective operates on predictive mathematics," he explained. "Their entire strategic model assumes complete computational superiority. We've demonstrated that human innovation exists beyond algorithmic prediction." Dr. Elena Volkov stepped forward, presenting holographic data that made even the most skeptical council members lean forward. The Prometheus hadn't just destroyed a single Zorn vessel. It had introduced a fundamental vulnerability into the collective's entire strategic framework. The Galactic Council, once dismissive of humanity, now watched with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. The Viridian Confederacy's representative, a crystalline being named Zeralin, spoke first. "How?" The question hung in the air, laden with years of accumulated desperation. Harper's response was characteristically human. "We don't see obstacles. We see problems waiting to be solved." The Prometheus became more than a ship. It became a symbol of hope for civilizations that had been systematically crushed by the Zorn Collective. Each technological breakthrough wasn't just a military advantage. It was a psychological weapon that challenged the very foundations of the invaders' belief system. Aria, the ship's AI, began analyzing the broader implications. The Zorn's collective consciousness had always assumed linear progression of technological development. Humanity introduced a concept they couldn't comprehend: creative disruption. In the weeks following the first engagement, the Zorn Collective's invasion began to fracture. Their perfectly calculated strategies started to fail. Civilizations that had been on the brink of total submission found renewed resistance, inspired by humanity's unexpected intervention. Captain Harper understood the deeper strategy. It wasn't about total destruction. It was about demonstrating that no species, no matter how advanced, could predict the human capacity for innovation. "We're not just fighting a war," he told his crew. "We're rewriting the fundamental understanding of technological potential." The final blow came not through massive military might, but through a series of quantum-level interventions that systematically dismantled the Zorn's computational superiority. Each system they conquered became a trap, each conquered world a potential point of unexpected resistance. As the Zorn Collective began to retreat, something unprecedented happened. Other galactic civilizations began to look at humanity differently. No longer were they the backward species to be pitied or ignored. They were the wild card, the unpredictable element that could change everything. In the quiet of the Prometheus's bridge, Captain Harper allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had done what no one thought possible. They had turned the tide of a galactic war not through brute force, but through the most powerful weapon in their arsenal: imagination. The stars waited, watching, and humanity was just getting started.